Welcome to The Process. It is Wednesday, December 15th. I am Josh Engelman, here to break down an 11-game NBA slate. We got a lot to do. COVID absences galore. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a good time. But first, hit that like button. You guys know what you need to do. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Hope everybody had a good slate yesterday. I did not have nearly enough David Duke or Kessler Edwards. Way too much Cam Thomas. But what are you going to do? All came out in the wash. Ended up neutral yesterday. I'll take what I can get. It was a really weird one yesterday for the Nets. Just started lopping off players until we finally got to Harden, which was not ideal. But I'm happy with how it went yesterday. I'm happy to dive into this slate. It should be a fun one. 11 games. We've got a couple really interesting games, some a little bit less so, but that's what we're here for. So without further ado, let's just get into this because we do have a lot to talk about. So let's start here. 1, rise and grind, everybody. You guys know the drill on that one. Let me get a little bit more comfortable. A little stiff this morning. We'll get there. I've got my coffee, which is very necessary today. Feeling a little slow. Monday's workout is starting to hit me right now. So I've got my cheersing mug. I hope you guys do as well. So cheers to you guys. Clink. Rise and grind. Let's win some money today. Now that's good. That is very necessary. So let's switch it on over to the screen. We'll get some tunage going on in the background. And then we'll talk a little bit about the presenting sponsor of this show. That would be Prize Picks. If you use the promo code Awesemo when signing up at Prize Picks, you can get up to $100 on your first deposit. We've got free content at our site. Go to awesemo.com for it. Our player prop tool will help you do everything that you need to do at Prize Picks because you don't have to worry about sharks or optimizers. You're building parlay cards, over-unders on props. You cannot beat that. So check out the free stuff that we've got at awesemo.com. Use it to play at Prize Picks and use that promo code. Get yourself extra money on that first deposit. Alrighty, we are diving in. And good morning to everybody. I love seeing all the coffee cups, the good mornings. The morning crew is the best. You guys are awesome to have around. Makes doing this show a lot easier. So kudos to you guys for that. Let's get into it. Houston Rockets, 10.5 point underdogs in Cleveland. We start with Houston, where Christian Wood, questionable with left knee injury. And no Kevin Porter, no Jalen Green, no Eric Gordon. This is going to be not fun. I actually think that Christian Wood is not going to play. I just can't project it like that right now. I have a sneaky suspicion that he's not going to play, but there's no way that we can really deal with this. So we just saw Eric Gordon sit 2 games ago. So we have to assume that this is going to look a bit like that. So we're going to go with, Tice getting some minutes. I think he just enters the rotation pretty easily there. Similar story for Şengün here. Probably needs a little bit more playing time. Has been ramping up over the past 2 games. So I'm going to take him up to 20. A little bit less so for Wood. I'll do something like that. Kenyon Martin's minutes seem to be up a little bit as well. We've got plenty of minutes to go around right now. We got Jason Tate at 20. I'm going to take out Christopher's minutes, Matthews' minutes, Augustine's minutes, and Armani Brooks's minutes. And now we could really just project out the rest of this team at guard. So we'll start, I guess, with Armani Brooks, who has played pretty sizable run over this past couple game stretch. Assuming he starts, I think that we see Armani Brooks play like 30 minutes today. And then DJ Augustine is playing in that like 24-ish range. Played 26 with no Eric Gordon last time out. So I think we can go to like 24 right there at the very least. Garrison Matthews saw the minutes come down a bit over the past 2. Was up in the 30s for a pretty extended stretch. Has been at 32 since everybody got ruled out. Well, since Porter went out. So at the very least, I'm going 32 on Garrison Matthews. That leaves me 36 for David Nwaba and Josh Christopher. I think 22 for Christopher works, which leaves me 14 for Nwaba. So I'm happy here. From a rates perspective, I don't really think that we have any major changes that need to be made here. But we're going to be looking at Armani Brooks, Christian Wood, Jason Tate, a little bit of Josh Christopher. Şengün, not as good as I totally expected, but he could easily play more than 20 minutes. He might actually start. Who the hell knows? That's Houston in the books. We'll go to Cleveland now. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, what do we got? Q tag on Mobley. That's it. So Cleveland's rotation, I would imagine, is just going to look like it has as of late. We saw Lamar Stevens play over Dean Wade this last time out. I think that's fine. Don't really see much that we're going to change here. Other than, did Chetty get hurt? I mean, I guess he didn't, but he could have. So Chetty just played an early rotation and then never saw the floor again. They went to more Lamar Stevens. I don't really know what to do with that sort of information, but I will take Chetty down a little bit from a minutes perspective. Doesn't really matter all that much. We like Cleveland quite a bit here. They are going to pop with some really interesting, just because of Houston. Houston plays so quick. So on the Houston side, if Christian Wood plays, I like him at 8,300 on FanDuel. I don't know if he's going to play, though. Armani Brooks on FanDuel, Jason Tate on DraftKings, probably the 2 best options after that. But no real priorities coming out of Houston. Coming out of Cleveland, on the other hand, we've got, I mean, on DraftKings, these guys just look incredible. 6,900 for Mobley on DK if he's in. Yes. Jared Allen looks good on both sites. Darius Garland looks good on both sites. Lauri Markkanen looks good on both sites. Ricky Rubio looking solid on DraftKings at just 5K. Lots to like here for Cleveland against Houston. That's what happens when you play at the 21st highest pace and then you play the fastest team in the league. Cleveland gains a lot of possessions over their average just by being in this one. So don't be afraid to go to the Cleveland Cavs tonight against Houston. We're on to Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks in Orlando, 224 total. Is this just going to be a normal Hawks rotation? No Bogdanovich, no Hunter. Okongwu now with the G League. So, yeah, standard Atlanta rotation, I reckon. TLC's minutes starting to come down. Cam Reddish we saw start to go up. Like to see that. Don't want to go too high on him, but take him up to 25. Seems reasonable. Everything else here looks fine. We saw Gorgie Jang play. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Danny, shouts to you. Congratulations. And good morning to everybody that's been in since I've said good morning to everybody. Yeah, nothing really here to change for Atlanta. We kind of know what their rotation is at this point. Gallo's been playing a little bit more as of late. Possible I want to bump him up with no Bogdanovich. Maybe give him an extra minute. Don't really know where that would come from. I think we're good here. On the Orlando side, and this is a team where I never trust it. You never know who's going to be out for Orlando. For the Magic, no Suggs, no Isaac, no Fultz, no MCW, no Eton Moore. Q tag on Mo Bamba. What do we actually know about Mo Bamba's injury? That's a good question. Expects Mo Bamba to play Wednesday. That'll work. So Orlando rotation, likely just going to be looking like it normally does. We have seen Terrence Ross get a bump in playing time as of late. I don't know why. Michael Mulder's minutes just went away, so I'm going to take Terrence Ross up to 27 minutes. Knock Mulder back down. We saw Mo Wagner not play in 2 of the last 3 games. I think that's very interesting as well. Well, mostly because they went to Robin Lopez. In one of those games, that makes sense. In the other, it doesn't. Wendell Carter, though, seems pretty firmly set into 32 minutes or more. So I am going to bump his minutes up a little bit. Cole Anthony in for 35 is normal. Franz Wagner in for, honestly, it should be slightly more. Gary Harris is playing 32 minutes a game at least. I got him in there for that. I think this rotation looks a little bit better now. And might be a Wendell Carter Jr. day. Definitely a Cole Anthony day. Let's look at this one. So for Atlanta, I mean, there are priorities, but no major priorities. Trae Young, John Collins, Kevin Huerter, and Clint Capella all look basically the same on FanDuel relative to salary. On DraftKings, Huerter's a bit too expensive. Everybody else sort of fits in that same mold. For Orlando, though, Cole Anthony looks really good, FanDuel or DraftKings in this matchup. Just has really big usage with no Jalen Suggs on the floor. Wendell Carter, probably the second best option. Nothing wrong with Mo Bamba for 6,400 on DraftKings. Nothing wrong with Terrence Ross for 4,100 on DraftKings, especially given shooting guard, small forward eligibility. I think that is important. Let's check the summary tables while we're here. We'll do this every 2 games until we get to the end. And I get a lot of people either in the comments or on Twitter mentioning that I didn't share this table in the end. We didn't finish it off by the end. That's what the power rankings are for. This is just guideposts to look at things while we're moving. The power rankings supersede anything that we're going to be looking at right here and are going to be in basically the same order anyway. So if we don't look at this again at the end, that's why. So for right now, Evan Mobley looking like my favorite option on FanDuel and DraftKings. Markkanen, Cole Anthony, not too far behind on DraftKings. On FanDuel, it's sort of everybody jumbled together. So nobody has become shoot to the moon value yet. But we're going to get there, I'm sure. By the way, 104 viewers, 48 likes. Let's bump that up. We've been under this 50 like ratio while we're live for a while now. Maybe I'm not pushing hard enough. Good morning, Butthole. Cantor, I should just give them the spreadsheet, right? That would be easier. Miami, 5.5-point underdogs in Philly. And we know that Miami has most guys out at this point. No Butler, no Bam, no Morris, no Martin. Q tag on Tyler Hero. Now that is actually really, really important. Not that that's surprising or anything, but there's no note on Tyler Hero for that quad contusion. So I'm I'm just going to assume that he's playing, at which point this game is going to look very similar to the past few for Miami. Dedmon in for 27 minutes. I'm going to hold there. Yurtseven actually played a bit more this last time out. Don't know that I want to do that, though, because we did get a career game at a PJ Tucker the last time they played. I got Kyle Lowry in for 36 minutes. Probably could give Duncan Robinson a little bit more time. Or Tyler Hero, for that matter. Yeah, let's do that. 1 minute from Hero. Because I think I still, like, I don't know. I mean, Tyler Hero, in the games that Butler has been out since Bam went out, he's averaging 32 minutes a game. So, maybe I need to be a little bit more realistic here. Struce's minutes are probably a little high. It's hard to say who I want to give any of this time to. I think we're pretty much set here, at which point Kyle Lowry looks really good, obviously. Tyler Hero looks okay because he is going to have like 30% usage. And then you can get a little bit of all of these guys. Dedmon, Robinson, Vincent, Okpala. I mean, that one's not as important, but Miami's pretty easy here. What do we got going on for Philly? Philly seems to be tricky permanently, too. Yeah. Q tag on Seth Curry. Q tag on Joel Embiid. Obviously, the other guy's not in. So we saw Embiid sit this last time out. Scratched after lock, which I'm still pretty pissed about. I'm going to assume that Embiid is playing for today and he got the rest that he needed. So I don't know enough about Seth Curry's actual status. So let's go ahead and read that. See where we stand with Curry. Missed Monday. Yeah, I'm just going to assume that everybody for Philly is back in their normal rotation. So I've got Curry in. This is everything that I've had in for weeks now. So rates will all be the same. So let's look at Miami and Philly. On the Miami side, yeah, Kyle Lowry, 7K on FanDuel. Got to be a priority here. Little bit of $6,200 Hero on FanDuel. On DraftKings, like Lowry's okay, but there are no priorities at all for Miami on DK today. Philly, on the other hand, I like Joel Embiid quite a bit. 10-5 on FanDuel, 11K on DraftKings, 1.5 fantasy points per minute. You're going to have other centers. We've got Jokic out there today. We've got Giannis out there today. No, we don't have Giannis out there today. Ooh, totally forgot that he's in the health and safety protocols. Yeah, Embiid's going to look really good today. Tobias Harris looks solid across both sites. I'm okay getting to a little bit of Maxey. But again, this is Miami and Philly. We're talking about the 29th fastest team and the 28th fastest team, both leaning a little bit more defensively than anything else. Although with Bam out, maybe that's and Butler out, maybe that's not as true. But this isn't a great DFS game. On to the Los Angeles Lakers. 2-point dogs in Dallas. Is that real? That can't be real. They can't be dogs in Dallas with no Luka. Right? There's no Luka, right? Are people out for the Lakers and I missed it? I mean, if AD, LeBron, and Russ are playing, they're not underdogs to Dallas in Dallas. I know the team sucks, but they don't suck like that. Did I enter that in wrong? How is Dallas favored against the Lakers when those three guys are healthy? Like, I hate the Lakers, and I think they suck. But I don't think that they should be underdogs in Dallas. I mean, maybe they should, but I would like to bet on the Lakers here. All right. Now, we do have Lakers news. This is the reason that it's happening. Dwight Howard is in health and safety protocols. Malik Monk is in health and safety protocols. Talen Horton-Tucker is in protocols. And then no Monk or no Ariza still, no Nunn still. We don't know the status of AD, but, we assume that he plays. So let's try to figure this one out. Dwight Howard is not going to play. That much we know. So we haven't seen AD for the past 2 games. I think we're going to have to see him today. And maybe that's what that 2-point line is for. Is that the assumption that it's just LeBron, Russ, and table scraps? By the SMP, PJ Tucker every year takes like 1 lap up into the 5s or like the really high 4s. You're making me want to look this up now. But yeah, here we go. February 2020 was 6,200. November 19th, he was 5,800. 2016, he got to 5,600. He bounces up into the 5s pretty regularly. And then he'll fall back down to like 3,400 at some point. All right, let's try to figure out this Lakers thing. This is actually hard. So DeAndre Jordan is clearly playing today. They don't really have a way around it, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've got more than enough guys for today. So figuring out who those guys are going to be will be key. I don't think they're going to want to play all that much DeAndre Jordan. I don't think that improves matters here. So if I give Jordan 14 minutes, I can give 34 to AD, and that'll work. Russ is going straight in with 36 minutes. LeBron's going straight in with 36 minutes. And that's when it starts to get squirrely. So Avery Bradley has played about 28 minutes a game. That's going to hold. Melo is just going to play his normal, like, 24 minutes at the very least. All right, so Wayne Ellington. Probably something in the 20s. I mean, Kent Bazemore is going to have to play today. I think Rondo probably becomes the backup point guard. So if we give Ellington like 24 minutes, we still got to get Bazemore out on the floor and Austin Reeves. Okay, so this isn't going to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. Maybe Rondo doesn't have to play. Who plays? Let's do this. So I've got 30 minutes left over for Austin Reeves and Kent Bazemore. Reeves plays like 24 minutes basically every game. That allows me... So they can go to a 9-man rotation if they want. They can not play DeAndre Jordan if they want. They could play less Wayne Ellington if they want. I'm going to go something along these lines. 10-man rotation. Rondo backs up Westbrook. Avery Bradley and Wayne Ellington split the minutes at the 2. We get a mishmash at the 3 of Austin, like whoever you want to call the 3 here. Austin Reeves, Kent Bazemore, some LeBron. Melo locks in at the 4. AD and DeAndre Jordan basically split the 5 minutes. I don't have rates that I need to change for this one, just because we've locked in LeBron, Russ, and AD already. Everybody else doesn't matter. So that's the Lakers. Parker, I have no idea who Tsunami 94 is. Let's check out Dallas. For the Mavs now. At least we know what this rotation sort of looks like. Although since they smacked the Kings, maybe Porzingis will play a little bit more than 25 minutes in this one. But I don't think that I have major changes to be made here. Let's look at the Dallas status, which is no Willie Cauley-Stein, no Luka Doncic, questionable tag on Sterling Brown. So same rotation we've been seeing. Short run for Moses Brown. You know, Dwight Powell playing some minutes. This is not a team that we really need to change anything for. I'm going to move forward with exactly what we had last time. So we'll go to the LA Lakers. Sorry, the Los Angeles Lakers. Wrong LA team. If AD plays, he's once again my preferred option. $10K on FanDuel, $1,200 cheaper than LeBron James is. AD is 10-4 on DraftKings. He's $700 cheaper than LeBron. LeBron only has power forward eligibility on DK. So I greatly prefer AD to LeBron, and I prefer both of them to... Well, honestly, I prefer Russ to LeBron on FanDuel as well. It's a $2,000 price gap. On DraftKings, they look pretty similar, but LeBron is last for me on FanDuel without question. That price is not a price that I'm looking for, no matter how good he's been playing as of late. After that, I basically don't have any interest in anything from the Lakers. They're terrible. For Dallas, Jalen Brunson is 6,200 on FanDuel, 6,700 on DraftKings, will be one of the most popular plays of the day. This is the first guy that's still separated himself from the pack pretty significantly. I don't have a huge amount of interest in Porzingis at 8,700 or 8,600. I don't even think that this is a particularly good matchup for him. So let's update the summary tables. Once again, we added 2 more games. We're going to see AD pretty close to the top here, I think. But right there is the key. Jalen Brunson, unquestionably the number 1 option for today so far through these first 4 games. Not much else has changed at the top here. So it's still Markkanen. Cole Anthony ranking pretty high. Markkanen ranking pretty high. But even AD, a little bit lower than I was expecting. It's the Jalen Brunson show today. That's for sure. Indy, Milwaukee. This one's wild since there's no Giannis. We're going to have a lot to dig into. By the way, 657. See, this is how I know. We used to be really, really close to getting to 100 likes at 7 a.m. every morning. And we're slacking now. 150 viewers, 70 likes. If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up. Let's look at the Pacers. For Indy. The better question, Gambit, would be why would he pop? Q-tag on Justin Holiday. So normal stuff out of Indiana. And then for Milwaukee, we know Middleton hyperextended his knee. Giannis is in health and safety protocols. DiVincenzo, who was supposed to be coming back, is now in health and safety protocols, as is Wesley Matthews. And we don't have Cousins for today either. So they are very, very, very shorthanded. So let's work our way through Indy first. You're almost landing on the answer, Gambit. What happens if Christian Wood does play? Cantor, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. The lack of likes is odd. Alrighty, so we're not changing anything for Indy here, right? We know this one. It's pretty set in stone at this point. Although Brad Wanamaker playing a little bit less is something. Probably time, 35 for Sabonis, 32 for LeVert. I don't want to make it more, but I might have to. Jeremy Lamb's minutes are fine. O'Shea Brissett's minutes are fine. Keelan Martin's minutes are probably a little low. I think we're all right here because we're only worried about the starters really anyway. Going to be a lot of Brogdon, Turner, LeVert, depending on the site. Now we go to Milwaukee. Buckle up. I don't think Middleton's playing in this game. Probably don't need to run him out there on a hyperextended knee when half your team's in COVID protocols. I gotta project him in though, I guess, but I would not at all be surprised if Chris Middleton doesn't play. All right, so we got to take Cousins off. We got to take Giannis off. Bobby Portis season, that's for sure. Wes Matthews isn't going to play, but we know that. So we got Drew's minutes in. That's fine. George Hill is off the injury report, so that helps. So we're going to give George Hill... He's been out for a while, huh? Missed 5 out of his last 6. But I'm going to assume that George Hill just sort of goes back to playing like 26 minutes a game like he was playing. Let's just take everybody out of here for right now. I mean, we have to imagine that Bobby Portis is playing like 32 minutes today, now that we don't have Cousins either. Calvin, there are no questions. The show isn't for questions. It's for answers. Ooh, SMP, guaranteed star. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Okay. We got George Hill in for 26. Grayson Allen in for 29. Pat Connaughton in for 29. What up, Christopher? All right, backup center. We saw Mamu play 20. The last time that Giannis missed back-to-back games, we saw Mamu play 20 minutes. I'm gonna give him 6. I'm gonna give him the straight backup run to Portis. The minutes at the 4 become complicated. I think we get, something like 16 to Thanasis, maybe 34 to Middleton. And then Rodney Hood playing 23 minutes gets me to 9. And now is where everything breaks, because now is where we take Giannis Antetokounmpo off the floor and everything goes buck wild. Now, Calvin, we're good. We're good. All right, we take Giannis off. And now we watch Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton see their rates go to the moon. Drew Holiday this season with no Giannis Antetokounmpo on the floor. 30.8% usage rate. Honestly, let's just throw it back to last year. Let's make the sample big. Since last year, Drew Holiday with no Giannis on the floor, 29% usage rate, and a significant bump to his assist rate. Chris Middleton with no Giannis on the floor, 32% usage rate. Try to be a little bit pessimistic. Other rates don't really change. Bobby Portis with no Giannis on the floor, 23% usage rate. I assume he gets a bump to rebounding. Yes, he does. Oh, I'm not saying that I don't like Şengün or think he's talented, but we got to pump the brakes on guaranteed star for, where he was drafted and why and what his actual skill set is. He is the last of a dying breed. All right. Everything else is probably not going to change all that much. George Hill is not a usage guy. Grayson Allen, we probably do want to get right here. 17% usage with no Giannis. Pat Connaughton, 13% usage. I guess I'll lock in George Hill as well. But Boy, oh boy, are we going to be playing some Milwaukee in this one. Or just playing in this game in general. So for Indiana, it's the same as it usually is. Brogdon, Sabonis, LeVert, Turner. Feel free to play all of those guys in any order on any site. Sabonis is the least interesting because of price. But you can mix and match those guys. You could also find a little bit of value in Chris Duarte or O'Shea Brissett on DraftKings. Brissett in particular at 3,500 power forward center. That'll work. But with no Giannis, assuming Middleton is in. Now, if Middleton ends up out, it's fire up Drew even more. But Drew Holiday is 7,500 on DraftKings. I got him projected for 1.28 fantasy points per minute here. We're talking about a guy with close to a 30% usage rate, a 40% assist rate, and a 15% rebounding rate. Drew Holiday is now the best play on the slate. Chris Middleton is probably the second best play on the slate. Bobby Portis isn't too far behind. Grayson Allen looks good at shooting guard small forward, 4K on DraftKings. I'm adding this game in just so you guys can see how big it is. But Drew, Jalen Brunson, Chris Middleton on DraftKings, that is the holy trinity for today. All three of those, they should be three of your most popular guys that you have everywhere. On FanDuel, it's still Brunson because his price is a little broken. Drew is firmly in that number 2 spot. Oh, SMP, it's not so much that it's a hot take, because he's clearly immensely skilled. But how that translates to how that translates to important basketball and not just Houston Rockets basketball is the key piece here. But no, they should be really happy that they drafted him. People are going to regret that one. He's going to have a long career in the league. It's just, does he just become like a really good backup? Or can he be a guy that can play for real? I don't know if he can be the starting center of a really good team. But he is going to smash when he's out there. Wow. Load up on Milwaukee today, everybody. Not that that's news or anything. And we're at 100 likes, so I appreciate you guys. We got there. 170 viewers, too. Everybody's here for this big Wednesday slate. New Orleans Pelicans, 1.5 point favorites in Oklahoma City. I know who's not playing in this one, and that would be Zion Williamson. Everybody else for the Pelicans is available. I don't have any other changes that I want to make to their rotations. They seem to just be playing the same dudes now, and we've kind of got this one locked in place. So I'm pretty happy with what we've got here. I think that works. So no changes for New Orleans. Standard issue rotation. They haven't had any changes over the past 2 days. We know who plays for them. OKC. Yeah, I don't think he'll ever be able to be out there defensively. And that's the biggest piece for a center. Pete, good morning, man. Good morning. Good to see you. Friend of the show. Fellow Awesemo compatriot. Ugh, Oklahoma City. Is Dort out? That'll at least make things more interesting. He is out. Not that I don't mean good, but good. Şengün going to be better than Pirtle? They're like the exact opposite plays. Alperen Şengün is basically the inverse of Jake Puddle. One is exceptionally talented offensively, the other exceptionally talented defensively. All right, no Lou Dort is real here for OKC. That's going to free stuff up, and he doesn't miss all that frequently. So we don't really know what this is going to look like. So we know Giddey in for 30 feels fine. Trey Mann backup feels fine. Robinson, Earl, good. Favors. good. Muscala, good. I didn't know that Teo Maladon was back again, but apparently he's back again. So who gets the boost for no Dort? Is it Poku? When did he get hurt? Because it looks like they went to Poku. I mean, Paul Watson should be the guy, too. All right, so this is from Sunday. Who's more valuable to a good team, Şengün or Pirtle? Pirtle. All right, Oklahoma City on Sunday. Dort went down here. Teo Maladon took Dort's spot. Right. Of course he did. And closed. Now, it was an ass beating, but okay, so I guess we assume that it's Maladon. Let me make sure that he's still with the team. All right. So this is claiming that Wiggins, Poku, Roby, and Maladon are with the G League. So we need to look at the injury report. It's possible that these guys get called back, but I don't know how many days some of these guys have left either. So if we look at... Okay, so Maladon, Poku, and Isaiah Roby are all supposed to be with the G League. So no real news. Okay, I'm going to assume that they're with the G League affiliate, at which point things get kind of complicated here. So we got to take Poku's minutes out, because that's how they are on the injury report, the 6:30 injury report, as having no Poku, no Maladon, no Roby. That matters. Now, we need to pay very close attention to find out if they get brought back up. Who is the Oklahoma City OKC G League? Oh yeah, the Oklahoma City Blue. Do they play today? Okay, so Oklahoma City's G League team plays today. This afternoon? We're going to want to pay attention to that to find out who plays. So for now, we have no minutes going to Poku, no minutes going to Teo Maladon, no minutes going to Isaiah Roby. Alrighty. So that does open some very obvious things up. For one, Paul Watson's going to have to play. So we're going to take Kenrich Williams' minutes out. Muscala's can stay. That leaves me 75 minutes for Paul Watson, Ty Jerome, Kenrich Williams, maybe Gabriel Deck, but probably not. All right, so let's assume who's gonna. All right, Kenrich Williams is just gonna get the most minutes here. I'm gonna say that he gets 26, just full stop. Then Ty Jerome got 35 minutes when we had no Favors, Kenrich Williams, Giddey, or Shea. So I think that Paul Watson is the guy that probably gets like 26 here, 24. Now, in theory, that would give me 25 minutes for Ty Jerome. I don't totally think that's what's going to happen. So we're going to want to bump somebody up somewhere. Is it just... Could it just be Trey Mann? They have played them all alongside each other. So let's assume Trey Mann can get up to like 24. We'll go 17. And then 21 to Ty Jerome. This feels about as good as it's going to be. OKC. I mean, I don't really have like major changes to make here. But I have no idea what Oklahoma City's rates would look like with no Dort. We've just spent way too much time on Oklahoma City, but kind of had to. If those guys are really with the G League, this is different. I think what we're seeing in the NBA right now is what happens when everybody doesn't care about COVID when they have their Thanksgiving holiday. That's all. Couple people too aggressive, come back to the team, and it just spreads like wildfire. That's where I think we're at right now. All right, any major changes to rates with no Dort? Shea does get a pretty big usage bump here. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander this season, when he is on and Lou Dort isn't, 167 minutes, 32% usage rate. We're going to bump Shea up to like 31% here. Giddey's got a 31% usage rate in 72 minutes, even with Shea on. So Giddey's doing a lot more when there's no Dort. I'm ready to move forward with that information. No problems there. Everybody else, I assume, is basically the same. I mean, I guess Ty Jerome gets a boost. Trey Mann gets a boost. Jeremiah Robinson Earl stays the same. Darius Baisley gets a little bit of a boost. Everybody else can just stay. All right. We're going to like a little bit of OKC, that's for sure. Let's look at this one now. For the Pels, and again, we didn't make any changes for New Orleans. So, Joe Val for 7,600 on FanDuel. Sign me up for that. Do I need to look at his minutes? No, we don't. Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, both okay. No priorities really for New Orleans outside of Joe Val on FanDuel, and he's like a mild priority. On the OKC side, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 8,600 on FanDuel, 8,800 on DraftKings. Already priced a little bit higher than I was expecting. Looks good. Giddey on FanDuel for 5,800 looks good. Kenrich Williams for 3,500 on DraftKings is probably the most interesting piece coming out of OKC. I thought they were going to look better than they do. Probably spent too much time talking about OKC when they're not as good as I thought they would be. So there's that. Kenrich Williams, actually the best DraftKings option from OKC. So we're on to Game 7. Charlotte Hornets, San Antonio Spurs. Hornets still without a bunch of these dudes. I know I saw some of the information come in yesterday. I don't remember who it all was. So still no LaMelo. Mason Plumlee questionable. Great. Jalen McDaniels is back. Ish Smith still out. What do we actually know about Mason Plumlee in this spot? Rib contusion. All right, I got to assume that Plumlee's playing, I guess. I mean, if we're being honest, Theodore, Portis should be only center on DraftKings. He's only a center. All right, I'm going to take everybody out here for Charlotte. We're going to build these guys from scratch again. And if Mason Plumlee plays, I think he plays a relatively small amount. He has not been playing for a long time, which is kind of wild. Maybe we get that one rotation for Nick Richards like we had been seeing. We get PJ Washington in for 30 minutes, I think. We still have no LaMelo, so we're going to go to Terry Rozier straight away for 33 minutes. Actually, we'll go 34 minutes. Say Gordon Hayward is the backup. Go 34 minutes. Miles Bridges, dude just kind of plays 36 minutes a game, so we'll go 36 minutes. Kelly Oubre is pretty firmly in the 34 minutes a game camp, so we'll get that in there as well. Now we need to integrate Jalen McDaniels for the first time in a while. He had been playing about 22 minutes a game. So we're going to give him 20. Alrighty. Oubre moves those down. Does that leave me 24 for Cody Martin? Because I don't think JT Thor or James Bouknight are going to play anymore. If we're working... Did I just... Yeah, I think that makes some sense. I mean, maybe Cody Martin plays a little bit more than that, but I don't know where those minutes would come from. They're not coming from Rozier, Hayward, Oubre, Bridges. In theory, they can come from Nick Richards, and they can continue to go to an 8-man rotation. Let's say that happens, assuming Plumlee plays. Now, you know what? They would probably give Nick Richards one run here. I'm okay with going 24 minutes to Cody Martin. I don't have any changes here. Rates can all stay the same because the main LaMelo is the key piece here. Everything else has been updated for Rozier. So no changes to be made for Charlotte. As we move to San Antonio, I have no idea what's going on with San Antonio. That is a team that is just random to me. Everybody that could be available is Josh Primo back down with the G League. So this should just be a normal San Antonio rotation. 30 minutes in a competitive game for Jakob Poeltl. Drew Eubanks as the backup center, not Thad Young. McDermott in for 26, feels fine. 22 for Keita Bates-Diop doesn't feel fine. Don't know why he's not getting that time. Don't know who it went to either. Oh, got it. Because I don't have Keldon Johnson in, and he should be in. So we got to get Keldon Johnson back up to 30 minutes a game, I guess. Which will cut into Bryn Forbes considerably. Wow, Bryn Forbes didn't even play last time out. In place of who? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they just went to a 9-man rotation. Okay. Well, I don't think that holds, but the rest of this rotation does. And we don't have any other changes that we really need to make other than giving Keldon Johnson his usage bump again. So we'll take him up to 21. Unfortunately, we're going to be playing a lot of Keldon Johnson. Alrighty, so for Charlotte, the prices are still high, but I'm still willing to go to Bridges, Rozier, Hayward, Oubre, Washington. If Mason Plumlee plays, he's 4,200 on DraftKings. Now, it's worth a dice roll at the very least. San Antonio Spurs. DeJounte Murray looking pretty good on FanDuel. Poeltl, Keldon Johnson looks solid across both sites. Derek White looks solid on DK. Too expensive on FanDuel. No real priorities here, though, in this one. Not that I can tell, at least. Guys that you'll play, but nobody that you'll play a lot of. Yeah. Nobody in the top 5. That much I can tell you. All right, so 4 games to go. We've been going for about an hour. 180 viewers. We're over 100 likes. Great show so far. We're on to Minnesota. The Minnesota Timberwolves, 4.5-point dogs in Denver. We got somebody out here from Minnesota? Oh, I want more coffee really bad. Okay, so Russell is questionable. He did play on Sunday. Played 35 minutes. Did something happen to him? Right ankle soreness. I mean, if he played, I'm just assuming that he's playing here. So let's take out this entire rotation because that's just easier. Pat Bev finally got back up to the 30 minutes a game. So I think that's going to be a standard thing for Pat Bev now. So I'm going to take him to 29. We know that we need to give Anthony Edwards 36 minutes. I'm giving Russell 35 minutes. He's probably going to pop here too. I'm going to take all these rates out. Who else are we missing? So Vanderbilt just plays 30 minutes a game at this point. 6 straight games basically in that range. So we're going to give him 30. Jaden McDaniel is going to get at least the backup run there. Probably a couple minutes more. We'll take him to 24. Torian Prince was out of the rotation last time. Okoji didn't play. Jalen Noel actually played, even with D'Angelo Russell in. I don't know what to make of that. Was that blowout run? This was Sunday. Can't be blowout run if Russell played that much, right? That wouldn't make any sense. Now, competitive game. Jalen Noel played a legitimate rotation. Maybe something happened to Balmaro. But Balmaro had been in the rotation. I'm going to maintain that. We do need to go to Malik Beasley minutes as well. Beasley played... He's pretty firmly in that like 24 range. So... if I give him 24, that leaves me 14. I'm just going to give them to Balmaro. I think that makes more sense. Could just as easily be Noel, but those guys don't matter. And then 6 here, 18 here. Let's grab Minnesota rates. Since Russell is back and I didn't play on Sunday, these are not correct for right now. What does this team do when Karl Anthony Towns is on the floor? Actually, I don't even really need that. This team's got a really good blend. All right, Towns, 29% usage rate. Let's lock that in. Edwards, 28% usage rate. Let's lock that in. Russell, 27% usage rate. Let's lock that in. Vanderbilt, 12. Pat Bev, 14.5. Big time assist bump, though. All right, so that's Minnesota. Unsurprisingly, we're going to be going to Anthony Edwards, or at least I'm going to be going to Anthony Edwards. Then we go to Denver. Jokic season. We know what we're doing here. What do we know about the Nugs today? Will Barton in. Aaron Gordon in. We don't know the status on Austin Rivers. He is questionable. But we do know that there is no JaMychal Green. So for Denver, I got Aaron Gordon in for 34. Got Zeke Naji playing more than I would have expected. Oh, yeah, Jokic got the gate in that last one. Monty Morris for 32. Will Barton for 34. Since he's playing, that's fine. Jeff Green for 30. Yeah, that's fine. It's going to be Reed, Bones Highland, Campazzo. All that seems fine. So I don't really have any other changes that I want to make here for Denver. Rates should all just be the same. So let's take a look. Minnesota. I like Edwards. 7,200 on FanDuel for Edwards is just an incorrect price. He's going to be highly ranked. I'm happy to get to Russell, Towns, or Jared Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's good. 30 minutes a game, fantasy point per minute. That works for me. On the Denver end, Jokic looks fantastic. 11-5 on FanDuel, 12-2 on DraftKings. We're talking about a guy that's 1.75 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days on FanDuel. That's exactly where I have him in this spot. Barton and Gordon, the other two guys you can prioritize from Denver, but it's Jokic season. Anthony Edwards, though, very, very highly ranked on FanDuel. Now third, ahead of Evan Mobley and Middleton and LeVert in this little group. Jokic very clearly the preferred pay-up option at this moment. All right, 3 games to go. Memphis at Portland. Portland on the back-to-back. Memphis, I hope, is just a normal team for today, but I'm sure they aren't. No Ja, no Clark, no Zaire. Okay, so it's same rotation that we've been getting for Memphis. Now that we've got Steven Adams back, only played 20 minutes of the past 2 games. I don't totally know what I want to do there. Tillman's minutes still seem fine. 30 minutes on Jaren Jackson seems fine. Kyle Anderson in for 25 could be too many. Yeah, I don't really have any changes here. We know these rotations for Memphis at this point. So Memphis holds in their previous rotations. Portland holds in their previous rotations. I don't have much else I want to change there. They went to OT last night, and Nurk played 39 minutes. Raise your hand if you thought that was going to happen. No, I did not. But I don't really have anything to change here. I don't think that's going to happen again. So we can just quickly look at Portland-Memphis. That one moved very quickly. For Memphis, Jaren Jackson continues to be the best play here on FanDuel, 6,400. He's incredible when there's no Ja Morant. I like Tyus. I mean, this is just a great spot for Memphis. I like Tyus Jones. I like Dylan Brooks. I like Desmond Bane. I like DeAnthony Melton on DraftKings. There's a lot to like for Memphis. On the Portland side, I absolutely love Dame. Once again, 8,700 on FanDuel. I like him quite a bit on DraftKings at 9,900. He's just a different guy when there's no CJ. I think Norm Powell looks solid. Anthony Simons looks pretty damn good, at least on DraftKings. Larry Nance on DK is 4,600. Yusuf Nurkic on FanDuel is 5,900. He's $1,900 cheaper than he is on DraftKings, so Nurk looks pretty good on FanDuel. All right, this is going to be the last update into this table before we run our crunches, but just to see where the Portland guys lie. Yeah, Dame is 4th overall for me on FanDuel. That I like. Larry Nance is 4th for me on DraftKings, too. 2 to go. Washington at Sacramento. For the Wizards, hoping that we just have a normal rotation here. Q-tag on Kuzma. No Rui, no Thomas Bryant. What do we actually know about Kuz? Because that seems pretty quick. All right, so if we just don't know and he's questionable, then I'm going to assume Kyle Kuzma is playing. Yeah, I'm going to assume that Kuzma is just playing, which should be pretty easy to fix. We know the center rotation. We give Kuzma back his 32 minutes. Bertans goes back down to 14. We've got Dinwiddie in for 30. We've got Howell Neto in for 18. I'm going to assume Corey Kispert just loses his time. We need KCP 28 minutes. That seems fine. Denny needs less than 26, though. We need to get him down to like 22. There we go. Easy rotation there for Washington now with Kuzma back. But I do need to change some rates because Kuzma did affect Beal and Dinwiddie. So just generally speaking, Beal's about 30% usage this year. Gafford, 16.5. KCP, 16. Kuzma, 19.5. Montrezl Harrell, 21.5. Kuzma's rebounding rate is the key piece that I need to change here. He's gobbling up every single rebound he can find. And then finally, Spencer Dinwiddie, 21% usage. And we in. So, for Washington, we're in the books. For Sacramento, this should be a treat. As if we have any idea here. All right, so Rashawn Holmes is doubtful. So at least we know we don't have to worry about that piece. It's better than him having a Q tag, that's for sure. Let's retweet this bad boy. All right. I do not trust this team at all. But we need to look at the rotation from the last game. Because they got their asses handed to them. So, we got Chimezie Metu starting. Len playing super normal run. Didn't close because it was... Well, didn't close. Don't know why. Bagley was just sort of a straight backup. Tristan Thompson didn't play in the first half. Terrence Davis basically didn't play in the first half, but they also got absolutely wrecked in the first half. So I'm going to assume that Tristan Thompson is basically not playing in this game. I think that we need to assume that Alex Len is playing more than he did. Damian Jones is... Okay, so that's the issue. Damian Jones was ahead of Tristan Thompson. So let's start there. We're going to get... I'm going to say that Alex Len is in for 24 minutes. That we get Damian Jones in... Because, I mean, Len played 15 minutes in the first half there. Damian Jones played... call that 9 minutes. So I'm going to give Damian Jones 18 backup minutes. We'll say that Metu can conceivably be the backup 5 here. He played 10 minutes in the first half. I mean, let's just assume that he plays like 22. We saw Terrence Davis only play like 2 minutes. Bagley was just a straight up backup here. And I think we can assume that that happens again because we got 4, 7. We got about 14 minutes in the first half for Bagley. So the question becomes, how can I free up enough time for Marvin Bagley? And then for Harrison Barnes, I mean, he played... I mean, I'm expecting 32 minutes at a minimum for Harrison Barnes. So we'll go to 32 for right now. I think it's just got to be Terrence Davis just leaving this rotation in its entirety. Buddy Hield seems fine for 26. 25 for Davion Mitchell. That might actually be a little high, but I don't know who the hell else is going to get this time or why we should assume that Terrence Davis is playing. They went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They went to a 9-man rotation. They sort of went to Davis, but he was only out there for 2.5 minutes, -5, never saw the floor again. So that's where I'm going to land for Sacramento right now. Not really comfortable with it, but going to have to be. So that's Sacramento and Washington. For the Wizards, Beal, Kuzma, Dinwiddie, and Montrezl Harrell would be my 4 best options. Again, no priorities. On the Sacramento side, we've got De'Aaron Fox for sure. Barnes 5,500 and 5,600 for sure. Alex Len for 3,200 on DraftKings looks really good as a value option considering what we think he'd play for these minutes. Halliburton 6K on DraftKings looks good as well. Just going to be hard to quit Harrison Barnes today. It's at some point in time he's going to play more than 32 minutes. He just is. Like, just is. So long as Sacramento doesn't get handled. All right, final game. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do so. LA Clippers, 8.5-point dogs in Utah. So Q tag on Paul George, Q tag on Batum. That's not helpful. No Kawhi, obviously. No Serge Ibaka, no Jason Preston. So let's scratch this entire Clippers rotation since we're going to be assuming that Paul George is in. Although maybe I should read the blurb. LA Clippers. Yeah, I think we just have to assume it. I don't know why they're showing doubtful there. Yeah, he's just straight questionable. So, assuming he's in. Alrighty. We'll start with Zubats. Been playing about 26 minutes a game. Hartenstein's playing most of that as backup run. I'm going to call it 18. That lets me go to Marcus Morris for, we're going to say 32. Reggie Jackson, dude just plays like 32 minutes a game. I'm going to say that Eric Bledsoe backs him up. We're going to get Paul George in for 36 if he's playing. I'm going to go to 20 minutes on Nick Batum, assuming he is in. We're going to go to Luke Kennard for like 20, 28, 26. We're going to get Terrence Mann in for like 26. 8 final minutes to like Justice Winslow or something. That works. I don't think it's going to be Brandon Boston any longer. Definitely need to update rates. Obviously, this team is a little bit different with no Paul George out on the floor. That should be an easy fix. All right, so yeah, assuming everybody is in here, this is just going to be fill in the blanks. Paul George, 33% usage rate, no other changes. Reggie Jackson, 25% usage rate this season, no other changes. Terrence Mann, stuck here. Marcus Morris, oddly low usage rate. No, that's actually not true. That was when Kawhi was there. I don't know why that's blurring my mind right now. Probably because I've been talking nonstop for an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm getting to the point where I don't really remember anything that I've said. And Hartenstein, 18%. All right, so Clippers rotation is in. Not looking all that great. No surprises there against Utah. finally, we get to Utah, and we have absolutely nothing to touch. Utah rotation is just set, which means it is time to run some crunches. Good stuff. Alrighty. Optimal lineup on FanDuel is Damian Lillard, Spencer Dinwiddie, Drew Holiday, Jalen Brunson, Chris Middleton if he plays, Anthony Edwards, Jaren Jackson, Lauri Markkanen, and Yusuf Nurkic. Okay. That is an ultra balanced lineup. Love it. You can drop down 0.4 of a point if you want. Turn Spencer Dinwiddie into Tyus Jones. Turn Anthony Edwards into Miles Turner. Morning, Kim. So that's where we're at on FanDuel for optimals. Where are we at from a power rankings perspective? Oh, that's not what I wanted to see. Okay. It's pretty flat at the top, but we do have a couple clear priorities. Jalen Brunson, very clearly the number one play on FanDuel today. So that should be easy. The rest of the power rankings are really, really flat on FanDuel right now. We've got Lillard, Norm Powell, Jaren Jackson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Anthony Edwards, Drew Holiday, Kevin Huerter, DeJounte Murray, Chris Middleton, Karis LeVert, Will Barton, AD, and Miles Turner. That's where I'm drawing the line. Everybody higher than 15%. So that's FanDuel. DraftKings is going to look so much different. Just so much different. Alrighty. DK Optimal. .301.5. So this is by 0.9 of a point. Jalen Brunson, Desmond Bane. Didn't expect that one. Don't expect him to rank high either. Lauri Markkanen, Evan Mobley, Portis, Drew, Chris Middleton, and Alex Len. That is a $3,200 guy, a $5,100 guy, and then everybody else is 63 to 75. Gambit, I don't really understand the question. I don't just play people because, like, for any specific reason. It's all numbers always. You should know that by now. Why would I do anything different? Power rankings on DraftKings. Yeah, you didn't pop up. That's not all that surprising. Oh, alrighty. DK power rankings. Gambit, you got to remember, these guys have salaries. It's an 11-game slate. You can roster one center on FanDuel. If anybody else becomes a value, you pay up elsewhere. All right. Power rankings on DK. And again, we need to... The news on Chris Middleton is going to be massive here. But we've got Drew Holiday at the top. I think that makes a ton of sense given his price tag. Chris Middleton second. Evan Mobley third. Jalen Brunson fourth. Those four guys are very clearly on a tier of their own. I mean, Drew is sort of ahead of it to begin with, but those four guys are all north of 20. We dropped then all the way to 15, well, 14 technically for Larry Nance. Cole Anthony at 14, Alex Len at 14, Lillard, Simons, Powell, Shea. It gets really flat on DK after that, but Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Evan Mobley, Jalen Brunson, they are the four main priorities on DraftKings for today. Well, guys, that'll do it. 11 games up, 11 games down. tons to talk about for the rest of the day. Contenders videos will be out shortly. There will now be a Yahoo Contenders video on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Strategy show with Adam, obviously, coming up at 10 o'clock. And then I am on the deeper dive again with Adam today. Flip-flopped with the boss man for tomorrow so that I can go watch Liverpool. So here we go. Let's do this. Another good one in the books. Guys, thank you for being here. Up to 210 people now. We're slowly but surely getting everybody in here. But unfortunately, this one's over. Go back and watch it. It's a great show, I promise. If you haven't done it, hit the like button. It helps us out a ton. Thank you, guys. Shout out to Prize Picks once again for being the presenting sponsor. Win some money. You guys know the deal. We'll be back again tomorrow, 6:30 a.m., another edition of The Process.